whenever you're waking up in the hotel, you're like, yeah, I'm service provider, but do like a football or something like that, Hey, you want to receive your badge? Come here. Very big. That happens. It's not about you, it's about them. Everybody was in the costumes, everybody was in the night dresses, drinking champagne and everything, and there I am standing in a stupid hoodie. Hello guys. Yeah, should we change the place? What?
Hi everyone, my name is Darina Starcheva and I'm content manager at RetroStyle Games. We are launching a new format, Insider Talks with our team. I've seen people spend time at conferences and leave with absolutely nothing. Today, we are going to find out how to prevent this. By the end of this video, you will find out how to talk with strangers and don't feel weird about that, and what to do with business cards after leaving the event. My guest is Ruslan Yesin, our business development manager. He is the kind of professional who can close $1 million deal while just standing in line for a coffee, and the only person who has scouted every secret networking spot at ICE Barcelona event. He knows exactly how to turn a random hello into a major partnership. Ruslan, hi, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing good. I'm ready to talk.
Amazing. So are you excited to tell us everything about conferences today?
Sure. I'd love to share anything that I have in my inventory or anything.
Perfect. So let's start. My first question is, we all see those LinkedIn posts, everything about conferences, like amazing events, thanks for the networking, but what's it really like? How does it feel when you are at a conference?
Honestly, the latest, as I said, I was on the ice and it was very big. I wasn't expecting that, honestly. And when you're there, you are kind of overwhelmed with everything. There's just a lot of people. There's a lot of, lights and everything like that. And everybody are open to talk, and everybody are very happy because everybody happy there. Yeah, it's overwhelming at first. A bit down to the line, there's just a lot of work by the end of the day. But yeah, it's cool. It's very, very, very chatty place overall.
I am excited to be there, even because I hear of that. And my second question, I want to ask you, I should ask that. Was there a situation when you spent like $5,000, drink champagne on the event, and live with nothing back there?
I mean, kind of, yeah, I won't be lying. But at the same time, the thing is about the events is it's a great place not to just to find the work right away, right? It's a great place every time to network and to get some connections. And by the end of the day, if you are not even getting, work right away, you'll find some connections that will get to you at some point of the year in any case. So I will say it's a waste of time in any case, honestly.
So it's not only about something short-term, it's about long-term too.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of them might be prepared to share something with you right away. That's, there's some certain events when they're basically going to find someone to handle their problem. But most of the events is about the presentation of their product, of their team, and they might have that, I won't say problem, but they might have some, points in their work where they might need some support. And this is basically the job of BDM to find those points and to present us as the solution.
Yeah, I understand. How was your first exhibition? What do you remember about that?
It was fun. It was, I believe, in Malta. It was a small event, but for me it was still big because it was first exhibition at all. I remember when I came there and I was like, it was pre-registration day and we wasn't ready because right at the day of our arrival we received a text saying that, hey, you want to receive your badge, come here. And we're like, okay, we weren't planning that, but still. And we went there and I was with the clothes just on me, from the flight, from the train and everything, and I had this stupid hoodie, I believe. I wasn't looking like a professional, let's say. And I was expecting just to come to the table, take the badge and leave. But I wasn't prepared because it was a pre-event party and it was very, very fancy. Everybody was in the costumes, everybody was in the night dresses, drinking champagne and everything, and there I am standing in a stupid hoodie. Okay. But the event itself went great, practice-wise, because I've made a lot of connections. I got into the flow of talking when nobody actually knows you, and yeah, as a practice, that was a good event.
Okay. After that, when you have already much experience, what is your game plan before the next event? What do you do to prepare?
A lot of preparation. That would sound stupid, but that makes sense in a couple of seconds. We always search the place as it is, because we need to know the layout and how to move between the meetings and everything. And when we're setting up meetings, we always research stuff about our potential clients. It's very important to know not only about their company as it is, not what they're doing, what the latest news, even though that's still important, but also quite important to know the person with who you meet directly as well, because it's a good icebreaker when you start or getting into the conversation through something either personal to them or relevant to their interest. It might still be connected to the business as it is, or might be their personal hobby or whatever, and that takes quite a lot of time. Besides setting up meetings, following up with a massive amount of text just to get the meeting done. And even after that, on the event, you still have to follow up a lot, just because someone didn't check your messages, someone didn't care much. And yeah, that's just a lot of preparation in terms of research, in terms of setting up meetings, in terms of logistics and everything. Just a lot of stuff.
So does it mean that you schedule people you want to talk with before event, or everything comes up naturally?
50-50, I'd say. Some parts of the meetings, and I'd say they're somewhat more productive because people are aware already about you, is pre-scheduled before the event as it is. And some meetings are either you dropping by stance, or you finding them out on the parties or anything. Parties are very good for networking and for bringing some business to with yourself when you're coming back. But yeah, it's always 50-50. It's pre-scheduled or you're just dropping by. Both works, just in a different directions.
Personally, what do you prefer, scheduling or just chatting with people around when you're at the party?
When you're putting it like that, I would say second. But honestly, with the pre-scheduled meeting, it's much easier because even on the last event, we were trying to drop by some stands, but those were very big companies and they weren't letting people in just without any pre-scheduled events. So depending on the event and how massive the company there is that you're hunting, I'd say the secure version is the first one, but more fun one is the second one.
Yeah, but what do you do if someone just cancels a scheduled meeting?
I have hundreds aside of them, but of course I'm not dropping them just, oh yeah, you canceled, okay, goodbye. That's not how BDM is supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
You're always following up, you're trying to connect, find the right time. You're saying, hey, if that place doesn't work for you, we can meet up afterwards, or we can have a call afterwards if they're leaving, because there's some, especially on the last day, there's a lot of people who are just leaving and they're not very excited to be there anymore. The event was for 3 days, they're already drunk and they're already. So follow-up call is one of the ways.
Okay, so when the meeting is actually happening, how do you feel that this will work out? Do you have something you feel with your gut, or there are just some signs that you feel, this will work out?
I'd say the gut feeling is always there, just because every BDM is supposed to have that feeling, right?
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the more practical and more basic stuff, the basic stuff is they have work, right? When you're coming to talk to them, they're already saying, oh yeah, I was searching for you, yeah, I'm interested. That's an easiest path to start working. They're already searching for you, and that's opening line, basically. If they are not aware, or they are considering but they're not there, it's always about the personal connection with the people, basically. If you're feeling that they are interested in you as a person and you got their attention as the company as well, because sometimes meeting is not about, yeah, I'm service provider, here's our service, here's my things, please that. Most of the times it's more about yeah, I'm service provider, but do like a football or something like that, more about personal connection as it is. And if I have a feeling, like aside from practical stuff, that I got his attention and he's interested in me as a person, that's a good sign that there might be something, not right away, but in the future, and my follow-ups won't be perceived as the something annoying, just as regular salesperson following you up, but more like yeah, it's a friend from an event, he's following me up, he's curious, and yeah, they're cool guys, we can work in the future. So I'd say, without the practical basic stuff, gut feeling and the personal connection, that's what my main points that I consider as the potential.
Okay, I understand. How do you avoid being an annoying sales guy that just runs around and like, hello, hello, hello? Yeah.
Well, through the personal connection once again, but mostly it's about how you're leading the dialogue. Once again, nobody, even if you're searching for a solution, you are curious to learn what they might need, but you probably won't be standing there for an hour talking with them about how great they are. It's when you're pitching basically to someone, you got to let them know that you're great, but not to oversell it and not to annoy them with yourself. It's all about themselves, right? That you want to find a solution for them. You know what they might need, you know what, how you can help with that, but without just saying we're great, we can handle your every problem that possible because we're good, because we are persevering. It's not about you, it's about them, and that's how you trying to maintain that dialogue, not to be just a salesperson who says, yeah, here's my product, buy it. So
okay, but right now I want to ask a question about you, not about them.
Okay.
How do you survive this? Like 10 hours on your feet, constantly talking to someone. How do you do this?
Cocaine. Lots of cake.
Okay. Okay, but
no, don't
seriously.
do drugs, kids. No, honestly, it's for everyone. It's more personal. Someone is more open, they're energetic, and I have a lot of friends from those events when they're like, yeah, we were standing on the event for 10 hours. I saw them running around with me as well, and we always dropping by, and I'm like, already, yeah, man, I'm tired as hell. How are you doing? And he's like, yeah, I have 3 parties afterwards. I'm gonna go there and there and there. God, crazy, and I'm like, how do you do that? But that's just the type of a person they are. If you're not that energetic, for me, what works is the mindset that I'm working. It's my work. I'm having fun still, right? I'm having a lot of connections and all that, but I understand that my main target is to bring something valuable and something that would help us in the future. That what works for me, at least. I can say that there's a lot of coffee involved, some energy drinks and all that, but that's not important stuff. That's just the boosters. The main thing is what's your mindset behind it. If you need that mindset, and you're not just prepared for everything.
Yeah. Be honest with me. Have you ever had situations like you woke up, it's Saturday of being in another city, and you just sitting there and like, who am I? Where am I? What I should do? Who I should talk to? Just like, oh my God. Yeah, like this.
Kinda, I'd say yes, especially after parties, because everybody's chilling there, but for you it's still the work, so you gotta do some stuff, and sometimes you cannot just say no to the drink because you're networking, right? You gotta do something. But yeah, I mean, there was some days, there was some days, but the hardest one is usually the first one, because you need to scout out the area before everything. But whenever you're waking up in the hotel, you're like, okay, I'm not home. That's weird. And then you're getting 5 minutes until you understand where you are and everything like that. So.
Okay. So yeah, my next question is, after having like all of that, you have so many business cards, right? Are you dealing with that when you're still in another city, another country, or you are just trying to work everything out when you come back to Ukraine, to our office?
If I have time, I would prefer to deal with that while I'm in the city, because the faster you can, work this around, the better it will be in the future. Yeah. Either it's to gather up in one place somewhere in CRM, or to follow up with the clients right away, because it's much easier for them to remember you, right? But if I'm coming home, it's usually they're stuck on my table. But with that, we always collect them within the CRM in any case, and we're using them depending on the situation right away to follow up, or maybe after some time, whenever we want to establish another connection, and we saw that guy, here's his visit card, why not connect? Because any type of a photo, even with the visit card, is kind of a good opener in any case. You're kind of connected to them already.
How often do you end up with successful partnerships after events? Like once or twice or often?
Honestly, that's quite a tough question, mostly because, as I said, there's two types of connections from the events, right?
Yeah.
Short term, long term. If we're talking about the long term, it might take for a year or two or even more. It might be done within the half a year or something like that. If we're talking about short term, it's usually within a month, 2, 3. If getting into to generalize it, how successful event was, we usually take around a year afterwards just to be sure that there's nothing coming. And even with that, we still have several clients that came from the events that was like 3 years ago or whatever, and they're like, hey, we saw you at this event, and we're like, what is that event? We're trying to Google it, and then we see it was in 2021, and we're like, okay, nice. So it's a lot of times long-term stuff. To give you a number, I'd say usually it's from 2 maybe to 3 clients from that in period of the year. Have you ever had situations like you've met someone on the event and they just suddenly after a year or two find RetroStyle Games on Behance, ArtStation, any other social media, and just contact you like, hey, we have met like when I was Barcelona 3 years ago? Yeah. As I said, it's there's a lot of, not a lot of, but sometimes it happens, and it's always fun whenever, especially when you wasn't around back then, and you're like, yeah, I know my teammates told me about you, and he's like, yeah, we saw you in some type of event a long time ago. That's, in any case, it creates a connection. So that happens. Not regularly, not all the time, but happens, yeah. Interesting. What actually is the point of flying so far away when everything is digital now and we have LinkedIn, Zoom, just social media? I said that in this interview for a lot of times already, but it's about the personal connections. So, especially, I'm not even talking about emails or LinkedIn or anything. If taking the calls or something, at least somewhat personal, when you see face to face, sit with them and talk to them. Personal meetings are more productive, I'd say. They're more related to connection between you and the person as it is, because you have a lot of options from that point. In a call, you have a limited time. If not a limited time, then you have a limited space to communicate and everything. When it's offline meeting, you have a lot of, let's call it dance floor to dance with that, because afterwards you can go to the bar, you can connect physically or something like that. I'm just talking about hugs and things, or handshake, but that brings another level of connection, and it's much easier to maintain, and they're more open to you rather than they would be on the call. Yeah, like everything is offline, but when you're talking to someone in real time, it's much more difficult to say no for other people. So what do you do when you talk to them in this event, talks to you like, yeah, okay, let's do it, and then just ignores you? That happens. that happens. That's true. Honestly, through follow-ups, it's the most efficient way in the end of the day. Because if you agreed on something, you already have their confirmation, even if they wasn't very right mindset or whatever. You're already connected with them, and you building some plans, you following them up. If they're not answering you, following teammates, and trying to maintain that connection at least for some time, some period. Because when they come back out there on the event, they might be open to you, and they wasn't even lying or anything. They were prepared, but when they come back, they have a lot of work. They have a lot of stuff happening back home, right? And you just got to grab their focus at least for 5 minutes to somehow catch their attention and bring them back to you, at least for 5 minutes once again, to drive that forward. Because everybody is busy, everybody have their own life after the event, and that's kind of okay. But yeah, your job as a BDM is to bring that attention back.
Okay, several more specific questions about you. What was your favorite event you've been to before?
Honestly, at this time it will be Ice Barcelona, just because it was the biggest event that I participated by the moment, and because it was the biggest, there was a lot of friends that I met on the past couple of events, and that brought just a lot of fun time. So I'd say Ice Barcelona was great.
Okay, so it's time for my favorite part, the fail story. Like, tell us your favorite fail story.
Oh, I gotta think, honestly. Fail stories from the events, I assume, right?
Yeah, of course.
Honestly, I might sound douche, but there wasn't that much of them. I'm trying to remember anything, but I guess the main kind of fail story is kind of boring, but still, we were meeting with one of the leads actually at Ice Barcelona. We picked it up the spot, a random booth somewhere, and it was an open big stand with a lot of people out there, and there was a bar, so we got there, and we sat somewhere on the couch or whatever. I was showing him stuff that we do. We were talking and everything like that. And right at the moment when I was like, okay, we're connecting, everything is good. For some reason at that stand, there was some event happening at that time. So there went like 5 dancer girls with the big dresses, great dresses and all that. There was such a loud music going on. So I'm like, yeah, should we change the place? What? And we're like trying to talk to each other and not hearing anything at all. So that ruined a bit of meetings. So yeah, that's kind of a fail that I'm trying to at least remember.
Okay, and last one question. Give like the biggest tip you can do for anyone who just planning to go to his first conference.
Always prepare beforehand. Always research everybody. As I was saying in the beginning, it's quite important to understand what company is up to and what your lead is up to. Plus, always be ready to be tired, because that's just how event goes. Especially if you're there as a service provider and you're trying to search for someone, you've got to be on your toes all 24/7, and it will be a long 24/7. So yeah, drink electrolytes. That's the word.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing with us such amazing information. Yeah,
thank you.
It was amazing. Friends, thank you for watching. If you have any question for Ruslan, leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Want to get a pack of free game assets? Here's the deal. Join our Discord, share the most funny networking story you've ever had, and it's done. You will get it. See you next time.